Under transpiration, what we are going to consider next is the opening and closing of stomata. We had discussed that stomata open up in the day and they are closed in the night. So we are going to see what is the physiological process that is responsible for such an automatic closure and opening, okay, depending upon the type and time basically. So a lot of theories were proposed in this particular context, that how the stomatal cells, especially the guard cells, we had discussed about its arrangement, that microfilaments are arranged in such a way that it enable its expansion. So we are going to see what are the physiological conditions which are responsible for such expansion and closure. And as I told you, many theories were proposed, and we are going to take into account the most recent theory and the most acceptable one, that is the malate or potassium ion pump hypothesis, that has been proposed by Levitt in 1974. This you have to remember. Now, before 1974, there was another theory, that was classical starch hydrolysis theory. This was discarded in pretext of certain discoveries which showed that the entire hypothesis lacks validity when we see the physiological activities which occur inside the guard cells and lead to the opening and closing of stomata. This was proposed by another famous scientist, Stewart, and Sayer. Sayer proposed it. It was later modified by Stewart. You can just skip remembering the names. Only thing you have to keep in mind about this hypothesis is that how it was lacking, where it was lacking, and how that particular aspect which was not consolidatory enough to stand with the physiological processes inside the stomatal cells. So we have to see that. And what was that? This dealt with starch hydrolysis. Okay. And to your dismay, and or the dismay of those people who studied a great deal about this particular hypothesis, they proposed it. We don't find starch in guard cells. So one thing is quite contradictory over here, that the entire theory was based on the hydrolysis of starch inside the guard cells. Now this starch aspect, which deals with this hypothesis, deals with the breakdown of starch into glucose 6-phosphate and glucose 1,6-phosphate. We don't find these things in guard cells. Okay, when I say glucose 6-phosphate and glucose 1,6-phosphate, it was proposed in this hypothesis that the starch that is being formed in the daytime inside the guard cells, it breaks down in the presence of CO2, and the pH content being lower because of the presence of CO2 and hydrogen ion, it dissociates into glucose 6-phosphate and glucose 1,6-phosphate and 6-phosphate, and that thing was not observed in guard cells. So this hypothesis was totally discarded. Now, what had they proposed? They had simply proposed that in the daytime, starch breaks down into glucose, which increases the osmotic concentration of the guard cells, and it absorbs the water from adjoining cells and becomes turgid and swollen, and it leads to opening of the stomatal pore. At night, this glucose gets converted back to starch, and that osmotic concentration is lowered down, because of which the exosmosis takes place. The cell becomes less turgid and the guard cells close. Now this theory was totally discarded because you don't find glucose 6-phosphate in the cells. This starch concept was totally weakened because we don't find starch in so much abundance in the cells. What we find in the guard cells is malic acid. Okay, malic acid, malate, and there was a proposition in which we had seen that there is a role of potassium and chloride ions in the opening and closing of stomata. Do keep in mind whatever you have studied about osmotic concentrations, exosmosis and endosmosis, and the role of pH, particularly positive and negative pH, in the various photosynthetic processes that we have discussed, or we will discuss later on. For now, just restrict your understanding to the point that why classical starch hydrolysis hypothesis was discarded. The reason being that whatever they proposed was being formed, it is not seen in the guard cells. Secondly, there is an important role of these two ions in the opening and closing of stomata. They are specifically found in the guard cells, and that theory did not take into account malate. Malate ions. Okay, so malate ions are found abundantly inside the guard cell. So we have to restrict our understanding from this point of view. This point of view will take us to a hypothesis which is widely accepted these days. And what does that hypothesis say? It also deals with the same aspect, that the osmosis has to take place. The guard cell will take up the water from adjoining cells and get swollen, and when it gets swollen, the pore would be stretched and the pore would open up, and at night that turgidity would decline because the water would go out and the guard cell would go flaccid and the pore would close. The basic fundamental is similar. The only difference is that whatever is discussed at the physiological level differs, and how it differs, we'll discuss that. First of all, you know that in the daytime the cell is taking up CO2. Okay, and what you have to keep in mind is, because of the presence of CO2 and greater H positive ions in the daytime, what happens is that this H positive and CO2 availability makes it possible for the vacuole of the cell to have higher osmotic concentration. Now, how does that occur? It occurs in a way that the starch, it gets converted to phosphoenol pyruvate. Okay, by a series of reaction, it gets converted to phosphoglyceric acid. Then that phosphoglyceric acid gets converted to phosphoenol pyruvate. It combines with carbon dioxide, which is available, which is as a result of present there as a result of respiration. It combines with it, and when this is combining, this phosphoenol pyruvate is combining with CO2 in the presence of enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate peptase, that we call. This enzyme peptase enables the combining of carbon dioxide and formation of oxalic acid. Now, when this oxalic acid is formed, it in turn forms the malic acid, and malic acid breaks down into the ion malate and it releases the hydrogen ions. As it is releasing the hydrogen ions, you can see it is increasing the H positive concentration inside the cell. The malate moves to vacuole and H positive stays inside the chloroplast. Now, there is one more thing that you have to keep in mind, that this is a guard cell. It has its chloroplast and mitochondria as well, and when they have to enable the opening, they take up the hydrogen ions from the adjoining cells. So, in a way, you can make it out that the hydrogen ion concentration is increasing. As the hydrogen ion concentration is increasing, it is leading to decline in pH. Okay, there is decline in pH. This H positive, these hydrogen ions, they would be given out from the cell, and in turn, in order to balance this loss of H positive, potassium and chloride ions, by using CAMP and ATP and of course cytokinins, which are plant hormones, this guard cell enables the entry of potassium and chloride inside. Now, what you see over here is that there is malate, there is potassium and chloride which has entered inside the cell because of the active movement and the cell's physiological conditions. The H positives are going out, potassium is coming inside, it goes inside the vacuole. This malate combines with potassium, and as a result, the osmotic concentration inside the vacuole increases. Now, when the osmotic concentration inside the vacuole increases, the cell is bound to take up water from the adjoining cells. It takes up the water from adjoining cells and it becomes turgid. Alright, now how this is going to lead to closing of stomata? We have understood how it gets opened up, because somehow there is end osmosis. The adjoining cells are giving up water because the concentration inside the vacuole has increased, because malic acid broke down into malate ions. In turn, it gave H positive ions which got out of the cell, but in order to maintain the balance, potassium and chlorine came inside. When potassium and chloride entered the vacuole, you can see that the osmotic concentration is bound to increase. When it increases, it is going to take up water and it is going to become swollen. Opposite to this, how the guard cells are going to close. Now, what will happen when the guard cell has to close? This malic acid itself would give the signal, due to its overproduction, this malate would combine with H positive, form the malic acid, and the potassium ions would get separated. Okay, this is because at night only CO2 is being produced. The higher concentration of CO2 being used starts being lesser in quantity because photosynthesis altogether stops. This malate gets rid of the hydrogen ions. It forms, not gets rid, it combines with the hydrogen ions. It forms the malic acid, and this potassium is lost. When this potassium is given out of the cell, chlorine also automatically comes out. So you see that whatever higher concentration, that means number of ions were there, extra ones, they are getting either bound with the malate to form malic acid, or they are moving out. So automatically the concentration inside the cell is going to decline rapidly. When the concentration declines rapidly, the osmotic system of the cell happens to be conceivable for exosmosis, because the osmotic concentration declines, because of which the water inside the cell, which had made the guard cell turgid, highly turgid, moves out, leading to the cell becoming flaccid. And when the cell becomes flaccid, it is bound to close the stomatal aperture. So this is all that we have in opening and closing of stomata. The most recent theory, what it says, that there is a role of potassium and chloride ions. They go inside the cell with the activity of these three, and of course it is active involvement of the energy compounds. As you can see, there is breakdown of starch to form phosphoenol pyruvate, which later on leads to formation of malic acid, which breaks to malate and hydrogen ions. That breakdown increases the osmotic concentration along with the movement of potassium and chloride inside the cell. When the osmotic concentration increases, the turgidity increases because of endosmosis. Contrary to this, when this malate combines with hydrogen, forms the malic acid, the potassium that was bound over here loses itself, it goes out, and in turn the cell becomes flaccid because of exosmosis. So this is all in the potassium malate pump theory.